The market is at a breaking point right now. This is absolutely huge. Bitcoin has just continued to tumble lower. This is horrible performance, but we know exactly why. We were already talking about it on the last video, so shout out to those of you who are smashing up those likes and staying subscribed to this YouTube channel. Just look at what's actually going on right here with the dollar index. We're still moving up very high. Euro against the dollar is still staying very weak, and this is all having quite a strong negative impact on the market. In fact, Ethereum, as you know, will move in slightly more volatile ways than Bitcoin, and you're gonna know if you've been watching this channel a little bit that I've actually been very interested in seeing how this trend line is held by the market, and unfortunately we have now lost this trend line. Now, of course, I haven't drawn this trend line perfectly, as you can see, but it doesn't really matter how you draw it. From pretty much every angle that I can see, Ethereum has now failed this area of support, which is probably only a preamble, if that's the right word, to Bitcoin doing the same thing, because we have a very similar trend line here. Obviously, Bitcoin just hasn't moved in as extreme of a way, and it is now potentially going to hit this support level. And I would hope for a bounce, but seeing that Ethereum has already lost this level, and the fact that Ethereum does sometimes lead the market because it is number 2 and it is still quite a large coin, that is actually concerning. Now, the thing is this could end up just being a kind of deviation of the support, basically a fake out, and then we end up moving back up. Let's take a look at how much we've dropped now. That's about a 2.76% drop, and your standard fake out rules would be anything less than 1 or 3%. 1 or 3%, and this falls under 3, so that's good for a fake out. But what we need very soon is a some sort of a substantial bounce in this market to bring us back in the game. The thing with Bitcoin right here that is very good in my opinion is that this area does line up with quite a large area of support. If we really zoom out on this chart and look at exactly what this green box actually means for the market, this references price action that stretches back to 2017, a little bit in 2020, and of course some price action now in 2022 as well. So this is a good support level. The problem is it's not a very precise support level. This support level for Bitcoin actually stretches, we're setting new lows right now. This support level for Bitcoin actually stretches between basically $20,000 and 18.5 in the way I drew it, which is not necessarily the correct way. You've got to do your own analysis to see what works for you, but it's a very large area of support, and there's no area specifically here that I can expect Bitcoin to bounce from. So it really is just this trend line. And the problem here is that we don't have any other areas of support that I can see with even indicators. We actually, my bad, we do have support right here from the 4-hour Ichimoku cloud. We're in it right now. The problem with this cloud, of course, is that it's very thin. Generally we want to pay attention to the thick clouds. Look at how strong this rejection was here. I was warning about this as the market was approaching it again. If you guys were subscribed, you're going to know all about that. So thank you all so much for the support on this YouTube channel. Bam, that's a 15% rejection from high to low, wick to wick. Obviously as the cloud starts closing up, which kind of happened over here, it does get easier to break those clouds. But if you then look at this green cloud comparatively, it's actually very narrow. It's not a very big cloud at all. So definitely, it is a bullish sign, but I'm not really feeling it, and that's kind of the problem. As we look at other indicators and we've actually failed our support, it's actually flipping bearish now on the EMA ribbon on the 4-hour time frame. 1-hour time frame not looking much better, actually already giving us some resistance from this EMA ribbon. This EMA ribbon is so useful in the market right now. Look at us failing the support on the 1-hour time frame and now developing resistance if we end up rising a little bit higher. The market clearly is in sell-off mode right now, and even though at first I was quite optimistic about this area of support, the problem that I'm seeing here, and this is so clear, is that this market is fucking tied to the conventional stock markets. There's just no way around it. And like I said in the previous video, guys, the S&P 500 is facing resistance now as well. So, if Bitcoin is tied to the stock market, if it's at the mercy of what's going to be happening in more conventional, traditional markets, then and they don't potentially, they don't necessarily look the most bullish, then where does that put Bitcoin? You know what I mean? It's a very tricky position. I just don't see Bitcoin performing well in that kind of environment, and unfortunately that might mean a little bit of a drop lower. Now that's not actually something that I'm super concerned about though, and there is one really big reason for this. I was actually just kind of exploring some new ideas for what could be going on in the market, and I came across something absolutely huge, but I'm not going to talk about it in this video. I'm going to make an entirely separate video about it right now, and that video is going to go live after this one. So make sure that you are subscribed to this YouTube channel, that you have got that bell checked. This is a very big video that's going to be coming up next. I really want you guys to make sure that you can see it, so make sure you are going ahead and doing that. And meanwhile, if you want some free money, I want to remind you guys that you've got more than $4,000 up for grabs by signing up to my link in the description down below to Bybit. So this is my favorite exchange. It's the only exchange I've been using pretty much for the last couple of years, and like I said before, I would, for my own money, I care about where I put my money. I would only trust it with Bybit. That's why it's the main exchange that I use. So if you want to check them out, if it's good enough for me, maybe it's good enough for you as well. If you want to check them out and get over $4,000 completely free of charge, all you got to do is sign up using my link in the description down below. And at the same time, while you're down there, hitting up that like and subscribe button, a little bit of homework today, ladies and gents. Check out 𝗪𝗪𝗥𝗙𝗟𝗏 Gold and VIP by following these steps on screen right here as we are navigating this market. All right, I'm gonna go film that other video right now. That one's absolutely huge. Before I wrap this one up though, I want to talk a little bit about where this thing could be going. If we do end up finding support, my eyes are going to be back on this area, basically the $21,000 range. I do expect that this could be resistance. I don't want to say that, but we are in a bear market, so that is of course the default bias here. I think as long as we're able to get above this area of resistance, we're going to be having quite an easy rise up to our real resistance at 21.7. By the way, I don't think this resistance is going to be a problem, but I'm outlining it as resistance anyway because that's what I think it is. But I think, for the most part, if we do get a real bounce off this level, something with a little bit of volume and so on, things that show us that a bounce is real, well, then I would be, expecting perhaps rising up to this level. And just given how we've interacted with this resistance level over time, you guys have heard me saying quite a bit that the market has appeared to get a lot stronger. Obviously, we lost all of that strength basically on this first big red candle right here. Let me just paint this correctly. It's this candle right here is where that changed, and we actually fell out of a very bullish pattern, and that was quite unfortunate. But up until that point, it was very healthy. The thing is that if we are able to rise up and get what would be the fourth real attempt at this resistance level since breaking below it, to me that would actually be quite a strong sign for the market, and something that I would expect to potentially lead to a breakout, and then potentially those very nice rises. We still have a lot of room for it. Fear and greed index wise, for example, take a look at this. Obviously, we don't have the most up-to-date information yet, but a reading of 22 is still pretty low. Again, I've been saying for a while that until and unless this thing gets up towards neutral territory, we start seeing readings of 40 and above, I still think this market has space to run. Back above 20 right now, take a look at that. So lots of volatility in this market right now. So that's what I'd be looking at for a bounce. If we end up losing this level, we've got our prior swing low, a potential double bottom waiting to happen. I don't think that would happen if we ended up falling down that low, which I think would be very likely if we lose this area of support, because again, there just isn't any more support on the market as far as I can see. I would anticipate quite a big sell-off. I also think this low would get swept, and I even think that we would sweep our real macro low as well. But that starts to step into the next video. So that it's actually a bullish one. Just wait for it. I'm very excited for it. I'm going to stop talking about it and just get to recording it now. So you guys know what to do if you've enjoyed this one. Check out these links on screen for VIP. Check out Bybit for over $4,000 completely free of charge as well. Very cool stuff right there. And I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers. Bye.